Hi, my name's Isabel Patchett and this is my beautiful companion dog Galen, and I'm here today to talk about guide dogs and how wonderful they have been over nearly 40 years with me and nearly 50 with my husband, who sadly passed away 12 months ago. His name was Bill. Guide dogs asked me if I would like to do this, and I was really proud to do this. I'm a bit shy at going on films, but we're getting there. My grandson Brandon is filming me today, so thank you Brandon for doing this for me. They wanted to thank Bill for everything he did over many, many years. He did so many things because he just loved guide dogs so much. It meant so much to him. Bill came from England in the early 1960s and he had a guide dog called Vicky. He came here and the first people he met and were waiting for them were people from guide dogs. They knew he was coming and they prepared for him and they helped him. And they helped him all through with Vicky all her life. And then they trained him with his new dog, his new first Australian guide dog, and her name was Tawny. And then his next dog was called Caesar. And he was a beautiful dog. He was really smart, and Bill was a member of Mensa all his life, which if you don't know is for people with high IQs. He was born gifted and he was very clever. So we were both, I wasn't a member of Mensa, I'm not smart enough for Mensa, but we used to have wonderful meetings at our place and we'd go to other people's places and we had wonderful speakers. But everybody loved Caesar and they thought he was so smart that he was made an honorary member of Mensa. So then when Caesar passed, the next dog was Georgiana, and she was beautiful. She was a reddish golden Labrador. And then she lived for a long time with us, and then she got sick and couldn't work. Bill got Tiger then, he was another golden Labrador, and Tiger was beautiful. He and Georgiana got on well together, but sadly then Georgiana passed away. The next dog to come along after Tiger was Delroy. And Delroy was a big black boy and he was just beautiful. He was the first black dog Bill had ever had. He just was my soulmate. He was Bill's guide dog, but he was my soulmate. He was just absolutely beautiful. Sadly, he passed away when he was about 8. He got sick and passed away, and that was really hard for Bill and for me, as it always is. And then along came Yilla, another big black dog, and he was amazing. He was such a great guide dog. And then after Yilla passed away, Bill by this stage had started to get ill. So guide dogs came up with a beautiful boy called Danny. We had him for a while. He was there just to help Bill to get around, but it became too hard and Bill just couldn't do it then. So then he stayed at home, and sadly he had Alzheimer's and vascular dementia, and I looked after him as long as I could. In the last 2 months of his life he was in care. But before he went into care, Paul from Guide Dogs said to me one day, "Is there anything I can do for you, Isabel, to help you? I'd really love to help you if I can." I said, "Well, I would really love a companion dog for Bill and myself, because I think that would be great for him." So Paul said, "I'll do that, Isabel. I'll be more than happy to do that for you." So he trained up this beautiful boy I've got here now. This is Galen, and he's just amazing. And sadly, Bill passed away, like I said, 12 months this month, and he loved Galen, and Galen was such a wonderful companion for him too, and he helped Bill so much. I think Bill lived longer because of having the dog with him, and I used to take him up every day to the nursing home when he was, at the end, and not only Bill loved him, but all the other patients that, there was one lady there that never came out of her room and she just cried all the time. And one day she saw me walking past with Galen and she called me, and from that day on she came out watching for me coming with Galen every day, and I think that was just wonderful. All of Bill's guide dogs, they were just wonderful, and they certainly made his life so much easier. There was never a day that Bill didn't go out doing something. He was a physiotherapist and had his own practice at home, but there was always something he wanted to do. The shops, the bank, the doctor, and he knew how to get the best out of his dogs. You know, it was absolutely wonderful. And I always remember when I first met Bill, he said to me, there's one thing I have to tell you. And I said, what's that? He said, don't get jealous of the dogs. And I thought, how could I get jealous of a guide dog? And he said, well, a lot of women feel like they're second best because the dogs are so important, you know. I said, I doubt I'll feel like that, Bill. And he knew I didn't, because I adored every dog we had. And they made my life easier too, because when he had to go out, I felt so much safer that he had the dog beside him, you know. And there was only once or twice between dogs that he had to, you know, do it with a white cane, go out with a white cane, and I was always so worried. But he always came home, you know, but it impacted on both our lives in such a wonderful way. And everybody that we met loved them. And from the day I met Bill and we used to go out, if I saw somebody puppy walking a dog, a guide dog, I would always go up to them and say, thank you so much, because if it wasn't for puppy raisers, we wouldn't have guide dogs. And what would have Bill done, and people like Bill? So I thank every puppy dog raiser, because you do so much for guide dogs. Anyway, talking about my beautiful dog here, he's the first dog to come from guide dogs to be trained as a companion therapy dog. And the day that he passed to become the companion therapy dog, it was me that went up to get something this time, because Bill was always going up as a hand lead, you know. So they called me up and I was given what I call 2 degrees. He's got a degree for being a therapy dog and a degree for being a companion dog, so he's really smart. When Paul brought him over the first day, Galen just looked at me and we sat down and Paul said, I think I got the right dog. I think we both fell in love with each other straight away. And he's been so good. I can take him anywhere and he's wonderful. And what I do want to talk about today is the Otus Fellowship. The Otus Fellowship was started in I've got the date here, I hope you don't mind me having a look, because I'm not very good these days with dates and things. It was Wednesday, the 8th of August 2007, but it took many months before that to start the Otus Fellowship and get it going. Bill and I always wanted to leave some money to guide dogs in our will, because being working people, we couldn't afford to pay for a full dog during our working lives, so we thought we could do that when we pass away and leave them money. So we went over to guide dogs one day and we were talking to the lady there that was working that area at the time, and we had a real good talk to her. And then I went outside and I spoke to one of the young lasses out there and I explained to her, I said, it would be great if we could start off something so that more people would do this. So she must have spoken to them after we'd gone, and that's how the Otus Fellowship started. And the Otus Fellowship was named because of Otis, who was a wonderful stud dog. Our Dalroy was one for his grandchildren. I was so excited when I found that out, so it was Bill. It's a wonderful thing, the Otus Fellowship, and we all get together and meet and have our lovely luncheons. When it first started, we would go around to different areas in Melbourne, and Bill and I would give talks at lunchtime, and they were just wonderful, and everyone wanted to ask so many questions and learn about guide dogs. Not long before Bill died, we were at a luncheon, and Karen actually said she was glad to see that Bill and I were there. She was telling us how much the Otus Fellowship had made. And at that stage, I think it was $3.5 million. And oh, we were so proud, you know. We talked about it all the way home in the car and thought how many dogs could that, you know, train, or how it could help with other things, not just dogs. And I've met some absolutely wonderful people, and all of them want to do what they can for guide dogs and leaving money in their will. And one of the reasons it was started was because, you know, guide dogs would get all this money given to them when someone died, and they'd never met the person or the family beforehand. And we all thought it would be lovely if you could meet the people and, you know, beforehand and get to know them and tell them, let them see what a wonderful thing they're doing. So that's one of the reasons the Otus Fellowship started, you know. I feel so proud to have been part of it, and I'm very proud to be a part of guide dogs. I think they're all just amazing, and people tell you I call them my second family. The girls look after me, and since Bill's died, they ring me up and make sure I'm okay. And yeah, I mean, I don't know what I would have done without them, and I certainly wouldn't have got by without my beautiful boy. Gonna give me a kiss? No, you're not gonna give me a kiss? Go on. Thank you.